Hey everybody, welcome back to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast. It's been a while, I know. We've been traveling, we've been doing a lot of work stuff, people have been moving, there was a hurricane, stuff happened. Anyway, so we are back and we have Harriette Burrell right now. Harriette, you want to say hi?
Hey, everybody.
What is going on? So I'm excited about this because we've had a woman on here before, but it was a partner business. But you're our first full female entrepreneur. I shouldn't say full. You are that's not
Yes.
what I meant. But you are a solo female entrepreneur, and you've been doing big things. It's super cool. I met you down in Destin, Florida at a mastermind. You kind of showed me your business, what was going on, and it looked really great. Beyond that, I don't know too much about it. I don't really know how you got into it or what you did to get there or how you got pushed in this direction. But I'm excited to hear that. And yeah, let's just dig into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's thanks for having me. Excited to be on. There aren't many full women.
I'm glad you used that terminology too.
Yeah. We call ourselves full women. I mean,
Full women, yeah.
Yeah. So there's not many of us out here. So definitely glad to represent the Wonder Woman Nation for e-com and Facebook marketing.
I was
Definitely.
just going to say that. Did you love that movie?
I haven't seen it.
Damn.
I haven't seen it
You
yet.
gotta
I
get
know.
on it. It's
Listen,
good.
when you're in this business, you know how busy it can get. Like
Yeah.
you get in this grind and then you look up and it's like the whole next year. You're like, how did I miss a whole year of movies and the Olympics and the finals and the World Series? Like, how did I miss all that? It's gone.
For me personally, I like movies because I can check out. I don't have to think about anything except for what's in front of me. So it's like it's my safe haven on some levels. But yeah, that's crazy. So do you want to give a little intro to who you are and kind of what you do right now, and we can kind of
Yeah, sure. So I started an e-commerce business about last year, and here in Atlanta. I have a background in marketing, and it's really relevant to the story because as soon as people hear that, they're like, "Oh yeah, she's has a background in marketing, so of course she's gonna really, kind of do well with this." But yeah, so my background is in marketing. I started an agency here about 5 years ago, doing branding and marketing for clients, and I just started out doing the basic stuff, graphics, and just kind of learning how to get people up on the web. And so fast forward everything's blurring together now. So fast forward about 2 years later, 2 years ago, rather, I said, man, Facebook is taking off. I'm seeing how people are doing more paid social. And I'm like, man, I need to figure out how I can get my agency involved in this. We need to learn Facebook ads, right? This is kind of where everything is going. I had a guy who was working with me at the time doing SEO for clients. And I said, maybe I start with, learning more about this SEO stuff and kind of feature that as a service for our agency. And so I just started watching a bunch of YouTube videos and really trying to just get an understanding of the world that SEO and internet marketing was all about. And it was interesting because it's like I started binge watching all these YouTube videos, and then I started getting bombarded with all these ads for people doing, e-commerce and Shopify and SEO and all this stuff.
Once
and
you
I just started
you just got you got retargeted like crazy.
I felt like I was in the Wizard of Oz or something. I was like, this whole new world had opened up to me. I knew nothing about it. I wasn't doing anything like it before. I just didn't know anything about internet marketing in that way and what was happening in the industry at the time. And so I dove right in. This was probably winter of 2016, probably December, early 2016. January 2016, and just kind of really going into it. And just that's how I got started. I just started watching YouTube videos, just clicking through things, and just got opened up to this whole world of Shopify and e-commerce marketing.
That's cool. So did you When you started, did you know you wanted to do a store, or were you just more interested in like pushing traffic on Facebook to products? Because I know that like, we have a lot of affiliate marketers that listen. We also have a lot of Shopify e-com people that listen too. And a lot of people getting started, they're like, they don't really know which way to go. Just because there's so much information out there, some of it good, some of it bad, and you're just like, it can be overwhelming. So what made you decide to go to the Shopify realm instead of going with being affiliate marketer?
I think it was probably the earning potential.
Yeah.
So I started following affiliate marketers first. And there's a guy in the space, he does really, really well. He's all over Facebook and YouTube. I started following him and I said, okay, this sounds doable and this is interesting. And the whole time I'm really just thinking about clients, reselling this type of service to clients. And I said, building a list is something that I was familiar with already and how that was pretty important. And so it's funny because as I'm on a webinar for affiliate marketing, he brings in a Shopify e-commerce marketer as sort of like a guest talking about, Shopify. And so after that webinar, I start digging into Shopify and e-commerce and watching this other guy's webinar. And anyway, long story short, I saw the earning potential for e-commerce, and I don't know, it's just something that just clicked with me. And I think it's really what resonates with you and what you feel like you're able to do, because, there is a lot of information. You can get overwhelmed and you just have to pick a lane and just stick with it. You can always cross over, which I'm trying to cross over into affiliate marketing now if I can find the time, because we have such a big list. But yeah, I think it was seeing the earning potential, seeing guys doing, 100K days and 500K a month or $700,000 a year and just e-commerce, and the drop shipping part I loved about it. And it seemed like the ramp up time for e-commerce was shorter than the list building. And so that's what I went with.
That's super cool. Yeah, it's interesting because affiliate marketing and e-commerce, they're so similar. They're different in what you're selling, but at the end of the day, all the tools work across both platforms. As long as you build those fundamental skills, like the advertising part of it and the email marketing part of it, I mean, you can sell anything. Tyler and I are always discussing it. We're like, e-com's great and we love it, but if it failed, we will always be okay because of the skills we've developed learning it.
Yeah. And that's what I hear a lot. And that's why I'm so eager to want to get into it if I can, make some time. But yeah. And
it's so cool with like what we're seeing too is there's so many huge brands out there that have no idea how to do what we do, right? So it's I would almost say that there's more potential doing that than there is doing what we do. But that being said, that comes with a lot of structure and a lot of employees and something that you've already got established on some levels, right? So that I agree with that I think that's a smart play.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking to see what the other opportunities are for this, because I do believe that drop shipping and e-commerce, at least the beginning phases of it, where maybe you're starting out with, a free shipping product or a free plus shipping product or whatever the case might be. I do believe that those are building blocks to do many other things, right? It helps you list build. It helps you build a fan page. It helps you build a following on social. And then that opens up so many other opportunities for you as well. And that's kind of the space we're in now, is trying to figure out, hey, what else can we do with what we've done in the last 14 months now.
Yeah, the hardest part's getting an audience.
And
then from there, it's just you just got to find what the audience wants. Ask the people.
Yes. So for the first 5 months of doing this, I failed miserably. I failed miserably. I think the first product I ever sold was those fitness bands, those like elastic.
The resistant bands?
Yeah, resistance band.
What made you pick that?
I was trying to fitness niche.
It's a good niche. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good niche. But the thing with niches, you gotta like niche the niche, right? Like
Yeah.
you
The
gotta
double
niche.
niche.
Yeah, you gotta niche it down
Yeah.
from. And so I just, I said fitness, but then I didn't focus specifically on like yoga or running, cycling, things
Yeah.
inside of, I guess, sports and fitness.
Hmm.
And so my targeting was like so broad. My pixel was so undeveloped. I just kind of threw something out there. And I don't even know. I think I ended up like shipping this product from Amazon. And yeah, that was the first product I saw. I remember doing ads and like, man, I was putting like a ton of money into just trying to force this niche, force this product. And that kind of made me think like, okay, I need to really understand the traffic conversion part of this, because there's the traffic conversion part and then there's, the sales conversion part. And I didn't really understand the best way to use the tools, the targeting tools and how to niche and the ads and all that stuff. And yeah, so for the first 5 months, I sold one product, and it was a resistance band that I ended up just sending from Amazon, because I was like, it's just the first only one I sold. Why get it from China and let this person wait? I just sent it from Amazon to get it over and done with. I don't even think I sent it as a gift. It probably had like all kinds of Amazon stuff on there. I didn't even care. And they never complained.
With your name on it.
Yeah.
Who
Like
is
it was
this
just
girl?
yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. I don't even know what I'm doing. But so I scrapped that. And then, my husband kept bugging me. He was like, man, you keep watching these webinars and you're on your computer all the time. And when are you going to start making some money? And so I was like, let me just try something else. And so I created a niche store. So the first store was a flex store, a general store. So I created a niche store, something I was more familiar with than fitness, because I'm not a fitness person. And then within the first 2 weeks, we got some consistent sales. And then by the third week, it just took off. And then the first month we did like 100K.
What? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel? How did that feel?
It was unreal. It was a mix of fear, like being terrified, like, oh crap, now I got to actually ship this stuff out and make sure it gets to people. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I can do this every month? And so it was crazy. I mean, my husband was super excited. We're jumping up and down, just so excited that I finally cracked the code.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't even as secretive as I had made it in my mind. Right.
Yeah.
Like I made it this really hard, difficult thing. Like, oh my gosh, like what are people doing that I'm not doing? And really it was just testing. Right. It was just staying in it and not quitting and continuing to test new niches, test new products, test new ideas. And this was now it's like month 6. And had I quit in month 5, I would never be here. Now we've already done, I think, 1.2 million in sales now.
What? That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
One thing I want to touch on there is when you said something that really stuck with me, when you said it's not secretive. And it's so true. When you haven't hit that level of success, or the level of having something on Facebook or Shopify or whatever it is you're doing take off, it seems so impossible. And you always think that there's so many like tips and tricks, and like everyone's got like some secret potion that they're hiding and like holding back from you. If you're listening to gurus, or if you're doing webinars or whatever it may be. But once you hit that moment, it's just there's kind of like a moment of clarity. And did you see that, and what were your biggest takeaways on that?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely just having everything click. It's almost like so I have a 2-year-old, and we bought her a tricycle actually.
Yeah,
it's one of those like cool little red radio flyers and all.
Awesome.
And we bought her this tricycle, and for months she couldn't pedal. She didn't know how to, actually put the mechanics of her legs and her feet and everything to pedal the tricycle forward. And so she just sat on it and she scooted. right? She just scooted with her feet around the living room, around the dining room. And then one day we went to a barbecue, maybe around 4th of July. Yep, it was 4th of July. And we came back from the barbecue. It was late, and so it was time for her to go to bed. And my husband and I were talking, and we're just going back and forth and laughing, talking. And then we look over, and Harper is pedaling her bike around the kitchen. Like she's doing laps around us, pedaling. And we're like, and then we finally look at her, we're like, oh my gosh, you did it. And we're jumping up and down, and she's like, happy, but like, you guys are so weird. And I've been doing this for the last 15 minutes. You just haven't seen me. And that's how it was for me. It's like, you have the tools, you have all the knowledge and all the training. And the more if you can't pedal, you just scoot, right? You're just putting up ads. You're testing funnels, you're testing products, you're testing ad copy, you're testing graphics, you're testing all these things, and you're just scooting along. And you may not be, getting as far as you'd like or getting the return that you like, but you can't get to the pedaling unless you scoot and stay on there and start practicing the motion. Because the motion of a 7-figure marketer a lot of times is the same motion as a $7 marketer. Like if you're just making nothing, because the motions are the same. It's just getting to a point where now you can put those motions together, those mechanics together in the right rhythm, in the right way, to then like actually pedal this thing and let it take off. And I think having a mentor and a coach and having people around you that are doing this, masterminds, whatever you're into, those things help because they help you see what those motions look like against, 40,000 orders versus your 4 orders. And you can kind of see how those mechanics and things are put in place. But I do a lot of the same things I did when I was doing 1 or 2 orders a day, doing 100, 200 orders a day. It's just, I know now how to put it together to where it's making sense and, you can just rinse, repeat.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so true. We've seen it multiple times also. And like I said, it's always so much harder when you haven't figured it out yet. But then once you figure it out, you're like, oh, that's actually not that hard at all.
Yeah. The hard part for me now is trying not to do all the ideas in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you see stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, that would sell. Oh my gosh, that would sell well. Oh my gosh, I could sell that. So that's my problem right now.
Do you have a process for kind of picking winners and pushing out the other ones? Just because I know that it's easy to get the shiny object syndrome. I get it all the time, and I'm like, we should launch this and we should launch that. And just being an entrepreneur, you want to try everything because you don't want to leave money on the table. But do you have a good process for kind of focusing on what you think is going to work and pushing out the rest?
Yeah. So 2 things that I do, which, a lot, if you listen to a lot of people, they're like, oh, you want to look for products that have a lot of, well, it starts with picking the product, right? And then when I run it. So picking the products for example, I do look at, like if I'm picking an AliExpress product, which we've sold those and we do sell those. We do a lot of branded products now.
Yeah.
But every once in a while I'll throw up a AliExpress free plus shipping item just to kind of get, some traffic boosted for that period of time and then put them in the funnel or whatever. But so I look at the orders, the amount of orders.
Yep.
And that's where I started. When I was picking products, I started at just looking at the amount of orders. Now I look at the wish list. I don't just look at the amount of orders or the amount of reviews. I still look at those, but I don't only look at those. So you can look at the amount of orders, you can look at the amount of reviews, and then you can see how many people added it to their wish list.
I'm bringing this up right now because I have never witnessed this wish list you speak of.
On AliExpress, if you scroll just below, I think where you pick shipping.
Okay.
And it says add to wish list.
Let's see here. I'm just going to type in something random and see if I can bring this up. But that's...
Yeah, pull it up. I'm pulling it up too. Let me make sure I'm not... But yeah, there's a wish list there, and you can see how many people have added it to their wish list. And the reason why I started looking at that is because we're trying to sell things that people want.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there are things that have a high order on AliExpress, but they have a low wish list count.
Oh, wow.
And to me, sometimes I weed those out because you could have some wholesaler that just bought like 50,000 pieces.
You are just dropping
Right.
bombs over here. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I
so
thought I was
cool.
like, that could be an e-commerce marketer who, maybe they just bought several hundred at a time to test it or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, they could have, the store owner could have, I don't know. I just don't trust that alone.
Yeah.
So when I see did you find it? Did you find
Yeah,
the
I
wish
did.
list
It's right under the buy now and the add to
button?
cart. I'm looking at some I just typed in boots. Some fake suede slim boots, sexy over the knee high women's snow boots. These are not snow
Yeah.
boots. But yeah, this one has 32,000 adds to wish list.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know
Yes.
that. That's so cool. Thank you for that. That's amazing.
You're welcome. So I don't only look at, I just pulled up something too, this car wax, right? So it's
Yeah.
got 3,000 orders. It's got 2,000 votes. So obviously, that sounds like an obvious winner. And then the wish list it's got over 10,000 ads on the wish list. So this product would certainly sell. But there are other products if you're selling other things and you're trying to kind of get, because we're all looking for like what are people not selling and kind of what's not out there yet and how can we get a little edge on. And so I started looking at the wish list and I tested this with a free plus shipping product. The orders were like kind of low, well, not maybe low. They were like in the 500, 600 orders.
Yeah.
And the reviews were average, maybe 50, 60, 70 reviews or so. But then when I saw the wish list had 7,000 added to wish list.
So that people are looking at it and they want it.
People wanted it. People wanted it for whatever reason. Maybe some did buy, maybe some just was eyeing it. Maybe it wasn't the right season, maybe the price for whatever reason. And I just started testing that months ago and I've done it with a couple products now and both of those products have done well with Facebook ads.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. That little nugget right there is well worth someone listening to this podcast.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that's worked for me. And then once I add the product and I run ads on it, because my pixel is a little more mature now, I don't let it sit for 3 to 5 days, sometimes 3 at the most, but I let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. I can usually tell by then if I have a winner with add to carts, initiate checkouts. And then sometimes I just send an email out and see how well it does on email. But I don't only do that. And again, everything goes back to testing. I had a product flop on email, but do well in ads. And I've had the reverse happen as well, where I'd run an ad on something and I'm not selling anything, but then I send it to my list and, I get consistent sales from it. So
it's so interesting when you testing products and stuff like that, because just because it doesn't work on email, it doesn't mean it's not going to work on Facebook. We see that too all the time, and we do test both. And we don't really wipe it as a loser if it fails on email out of the gate. But yeah, it's crazy. So at the end of the day, you just have to test everything before it's like it's a no seller,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It's so crazy.
But yeah, so we test that way, and I say me, I test that way, and it just helps me to kind of move the testing process along faster and not lose a ton of money. Mm-hmm. Once you've had a few hundred sales, your pixel is pretty smart. Of course, it's always looking for ways to optimize your CPM and all of that. But those things fluctuate, and so I just let it sit for a couple days, see if it's getting any traction. I split test between Facebook and Instagram. Like I have a product now that's selling really well on Instagram, but I cannot get it to take off on Facebook at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, test those different platforms and then scale it from there.
That's super cool. question for you. You were saying that it's you launched the product. So are you a solo team, or do you have a few people that work with you on this, or is it just you?
So I do the ads.
Yeah.
I do the ads and I pick the products. Probably shouldn't be doing that anymore, but it's my baby, so
Oh
I
yeah,
still,
I get it.
I still do that. But I have virtual assistants that help me with everything else, customer support, tracking, ordering through AliExpress if needed. I have other automations though that help too. Like I have an app that automatically sends orders to my wholesaler. So most of our items are not sold through AliExpress. We send a CSV file to our supplier, and then he creates and fulfills it and puts our brand on it. And I have an app that automatically sends him all of his orders for that day, and I have it scheduled to send out every night. And that was something I was doing manually for a while.
Oh, super cool. What's that app called, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, let me find the name of it. It is called, and then I have another app that I use to upload the tracking once he sends it back. That app is called Mass Fulfill.
Mass Fulfill. Okay, cool.
And it's really easy. I think it's free. And yeah, so I basically have him send me back. I gave him a template. Like, hey, when you get the tracking number, send it back to me in this template, in this way. And then I just take that same CSV file he sends me, and then I have my virtual assistant upload it through Mass Fulfill, and then that puts all the tracking numbers in place.
Oh, that's super cool.
So I have so many apps in here.
Don't we all? Don't we all? We were just going through, because you get these apps, you try them, and then you forget about them because if they don't work, you don't really implement them. And so we were going through our store the other day, and I was like, wow, we have so many apps that we pay for every month that we just don't even use.
Yep, yeah. I try to go in and delete them.
I had to do some fall cleaning in there.
Exportable. That's what it's called. Exportable.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool app. So you can basically set it up to where if you have specific products, like for us, like we have, probably 25% AliExpress, probably 25% print on demand, and then about 50% through this wholesaler that drop ships for us. And those products, I'm able to go in and tag the vendor. So you know how you can go on each product and put who the vendor is for that product?
Yeah.
And exportable, you just set it up by that vendor. So you say, everything sold from this vendor, put it in the list, send it to this email at this time every day. And you're done.
Yeah, that's really effective. That's cool. That's super awesome. All right, so let's get back to your transition, because you were saying that you were doing a lot of you started with AliExpress products, but then you moved into your more branded stuff. What was the thought process behind that, and what made you go that route?
Well, my background is in branding and marketing, so I always wanted to gravitate to a product or store that was that had a little more brand loyalty and trust behind it. So it was always kind of in the back of my mind to go in that direction. But when you're starting out, you're building relationships. So all of this testing and all the stuff that you're going through when you're starting out, right? If you're not getting any sales, you're getting so much more value in that, because you're learning how to pick suppliers, right? You're learning how to pick products. You're learning how to put up ads and test ads more rapidly. When I first started out, it would take me several days to just spin up one ad. And now I can do it in a matter of a couple hours. So you're sort of really getting in this rhythm. And when I first started out, I was testing a lot of suppliers and really seeing who I could build a relationship with. And I lucked up and got this amazing supplier who was on AliExpress, but he actually had his own factory as well. And so I was able to talk to him offline. I said, hey, do you have a WeChat? Let's talk. And talked to this person. She referred me to the owner of the factory, and we developed a relationship, and he saw that I was selling a lot of things well. And so I even skewed a lot of my product selections based on what he could supply. Now, it did one thing, well, two things. One, it did create a limited list of products to choose from. However, my trade-off was I knew that he could brand those products and I could control the quality a little bit more. Now, he wasn't great at first. We had a ton of, issues with the quality, and we had to get that right. But he's been with me since the beginning. I know this guy. I mean, we talk every day. He's like a good friend of mine. I know his family, and I mean, we just developed this relationship, and he, basically agreed to supply us and brand our products, put product tags on it, hang tags or whatever, and on the apparel items and packaging. And, he's even found a way to make the shipping labels look more American. It's like little to no Chinese writing on the labels, on the packaging. So I knew that trade-off would be better for me. And that's why I don't do as much with AliExpress, because it's a great place to start, but it teaches you so much. And as you learn these things and as you develop relationships with those suppliers, you want to lean into that so that you can elevate the brand experience of your store.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's super cool. Have you been to China to visit them?
I have not. We're trying to go. We were going to go next month, but it's just so busy because we're trying to get ready for Q4. And my husband is working on that trip. So if I don't get there in the next couple months, we're definitely going to go at the beginning of next year for sure.
Mm-hmm. For people who don't know, in this world, Q4 is the busiest season. You can make more money and revenue in like November, December than you can in all of the year, I find. So it needs to be all hands on deck, and you need to be prepared, or else it is a mess. It is a complete bloodbath if you are not prepared.
Yeah, and it's good to pick something that you're going to focus on, because a lot of the revenue that we generated is from maybe 3 or 4 products. So you don't even need, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I need to have 1 million products in your store. And if you have 1 million products in your store, that's fine. But when you're running these campaigns and trying, like for us, what worked was I wanted to find my featured Q4 product and just scale that one product, because I could control it a little bit more versus trying to scale. I know there are 7-8-figure marketers who have a team and they're able to do, have 5 winning campaigns, 6 or 7 that they're scaling throughout that time. And I just wasn't there yet. Last year was my first Q4. I mean, we did well. I think November we did like 200K, which was the biggest month we've ever had.
Wow.
But now I'm like, okay, now I kind of see I don't have to have 50 products to do 200K. That was off of one product. And so I'm just now trying to find my winner before October, and that 1 or 2 campaigns, maybe I can kind of fit 2 campaigns in there that I really want to focus on, 2 products, a great funnel, and just focus on that and scale that.
So when you pick your winning products for Q4, do you test a lot of products and kind of see what has the most potential, or do you just pick one and decide, like, this is what we're going to push and we're going to push it hard?
No, I test. I'm testing a product now. It's doing well. And I'm thinking I can push it through Q4, because it's still like, and I don't know if there's a formula for this yet, because this will be my second Q4 and I can kind of compare now, because I don't have anything to compare with last year. But my thinking is that last year I tested and I found my winner around the first or second week of October. And that was kind of perfect timing, right? Because now you have the rest of October to kind of ramp up to November. And then November, we like scaled it to the moon and really got pumping for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So I was able to get that winner in place and solidified before November hit. And so that's kind of the formula I'm going with now. Is like, I really want to have my winner in place around the first or second week of October so that I can scale, sustainably scale through November and really kind of have a great November, December. But I had a campaign that just took off late August and September, and it's a fall product. And so I'm wondering if I can keep, because products, I mean, campaigns have a shelf life. I've had some campaigns that did well for 2-3 months, and then they were done. I've had products that I sold for 6, 7, 8 months, and so on. So, I really never know how long I'll be able to squeeze a campaign for. So I'm hoping that this one, I can let this one ride hard through Q4 and maybe try to do a complementary campaign to it as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. You were saying that you've never really had, or you haven't had multiple products take off at once, or multiple campaigns, I think you worded it. And we see very similar things. Like most of our revenue comes from roughly 2 or 3 products, and when Q4 or last Q4, it was most of our revenue was made from one product. And it's interesting because I hear about all these guys that are saying like, oh yeah, like we have like 5 top products that are pushing them hard, and we have a team in place, and I don't even know how that's doable. I feel that unless you're running multiple Facebook accounts, I'm not sure that it's even possible to do it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I even with 2 ad accounts, so I have 2 ad accounts for this particular store. I haven't been able to get 2 really great campaigns going at the same time, even with those 2 separate accounts, because there's still cross sell with the audience, especially, with the lookalikes. And I think our audience is pretty broad, pretty large, but yeah, it's just never happened that way. Now I've had good campaigns. Like I've had, one ad account, a good campaign. I mean, it's doing well, consistent sales, good CPM, good CPA. And then on the other ad account, just have this super crazy campaign, and just the ROI is insane, but never both at the same time. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but
funny how it works.
yeah, but either way, I mean, sales are sales.
Yes, agreed.
You're not always going to have $1 million campaign. If you get those once a year, that's great, And I think a lot of times people starting out, they have these big lofty goals where they're like, ah, man, I want to make 100K in a day. And if you think about, if you're working a job right now, or even if you're an entrepreneur, you're running a separate business right now, you think about how much money you make in a year in that business, whether it's 300K or 50K or 60K. If it takes you 1 year to get one winning campaign that does 100K in a month, you're still doing way better than you are in your job or anything else. And so that was one thing I had to kind of work on, is like stop putting the pressure on myself to keep having these 100K a month campaigns. You may have a great campaign that does 50K a month. You have one that does 200K, 75K. They're not all going to be these like bomb winners. But if you can get a couple in a year, you're doing amazing to do that. And then those other campaigns, you just want to get consistent sales. You want to get people in that funnel. You want to build your list. And when you hit that winner, you hit that winner. Otherwise, you keep it steady and keep it going.
Yeah, agreed. That's cool. That's really awesome. I'm excited for Q4, and it sounds like you are too.
Yeah. I wish I could have launched another store by this time, but it takes a lot, right? Oh my goodness, it's like having a second kid. I'm like, it's a lot of work, and I think that's the one thing I underestimated when I first started out was how much work it is. If you don't delegate early on, or you're not good at delegating, that can definitely come back to bite you, because I delegate a lot, but there's still some things that I don't want to delegate, because I want to keep it like right up under me and really control it. And that's really the Facebook ads and the product selection.
Yeah. So you've kind of been around the block with e-com and the Shopify space and everything like that. So do you have any advice for people who are kind of considering getting into this business? Because I know that we have a lot of new listeners that don't do what we do, and they're definitely intrigued by it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of advice getting started, it would be to get started. There's so many people who just like, I was for a period of time. You just watch and you get on webinars and you're signing up for this and let's take action. Just start. Sell an Amazon product for crying out. Like anything. Just sell anything you can sell just to start getting in the motion of it. Because once it becomes secondhand, you're able to run, you can do more things. The thing is, the hardest part is starting. The other stuff will come. It'll come as you continue to test and to practice and to try and to stay in it and to talk to people and to go to events and learn and train and invest in yourself. But there are more people that don't start than do. And if there's one critical piece of advice, it's just to start. Even if you have one product. I started with 3 products on the store. Those products sucked, but it got me started, and then 2 weeks later, we were like, getting on the verge of doing, really big numbers. And by the end of that month of starting, the first month of just starting, we hit the 100K mark. So, everybody's not going to do that, of course. And we don't do that every month, of course, but the goal is to just start really. Yeah.
Do you, you mentioned like doing courses and stuff like that. Do you still listen to people's webinars, or do you still do any courses at this level that you're at now?
I still listen to webinars because there's always more to learn. There's always more to learn. Now I'm sharing my journey in a group now because I get flooded in some of these other groups I'm in, and there are some people who've reached out to me and I really want to help them, and I cannot, coach in a private message. So I, invited people to, follow my fan page, Harriette Burrell, and I just share some of the stuff that I'm learning and how I'm putting pieces together. So there's always more to learn. I share what I learn. I go and learn from other people. I follow new people. I still get on webinars when I have time and rewatch things because there's always little pieces you can pick up. And then sometimes you let some skills go, right? It's like, if you're a basketball player, you're like shooting these free throws and then you start picking up a 3-point game and then you forgot like your mechanics on your free throw. And so you kind of get back to that in the gym. And it's like, sometimes I kind of forget some of my mechanics with, with doing my ads or whatever, or my targeting, or just Facebook is changing all the time. So yeah, I still get on courses and I still teach, people who want to learn from me as well, just, one-on-one if I can and have the time. But it's definitely helpful. You definitely have to get a mentor, a coach, or get into something. The ones that I've bought into, they weren't all great, but cumulatively, they helped me to get to where I am. So there's never going to be like one person or one coach that I can point to, but they've all helped me get to this point. And so even for people that have taken courses and feel like, oh, this was a waste, or listen to a webinar or a podcast, and was like, oh, I listened to this podcast and I didn't make any money. You're still picking up things along the way, and you're going to need that little tidbit, maybe down the line when you're doing some big numbers and you're like, oh shoot, now I'm at this place. What do I do with this? And you kind of can go back to something that you heard on a webinar or in a group or something like that to kind of help you along the way.
I feel like a lot of people go to courses or listen to webinars and they just expect their mind to be blown on stuff. But for me, now that I've done so many, and I continue to go to courses. I was just in LA doing a course, and it's all about that one or two little nuggets that you just like, that can make you think about something that you might already know, but it just makes you view it in a different way. That can completely change your business. I found every big bursts in revenue in my business have come shortly after I've done a course or been to an event or watched a webinar. Not all webinars are going to be great, but like the one or two like really can change your mindset and how you think about the process. And it's stuff like that just build up over time and make you great at what you do. Yeah.
It helps shape your mindset because, like you said, sometimes you already know this stuff, but when you go to these courses or events or whatever, like even the mastermind we were at together, you just hear things that help to recalibrate your mindset and these mental shifts that you have to have. And I think once you get to 6 and 7 figures of, e-commerce marketing and earning. It's a lot of it is now managing your mindset and your mental shifts as you kind of get bigger, thinking broader, thinking more critically, creatively, and also sticking to it when it gets hard, because just because you're doing 7 figures doesn't mean it doesn't get hard sometimes too. And, there have been times I'm like, man, okay, yeah, this is great, but now I have a new problem. How do I get packages to customers faster now that we've got orders and got sales? And you're always encountering new challenges as you grow and grow and grow. And even I was listening to one of the podcasts on your page, and Derek, and oh my gosh, my mind was blown. There's always more to learn. There's always little pieces to pick up. And so yeah, I constantly continue to learn and feed the beast.
Yeah, in this industry, it's so easy to just kind of keep to yourself and get stuck in your own bubble. But I find we have so much information at our fingertips that it's nice, even if you are at home by yourself, to just to listen and or watch someone else doing it and have your mind opened up a little bit. That being said, you were talking that you were putting on a little mastermind near you in Atlanta. What made you go that route, and can you kind of tell us what it's about a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm having a little retreat. It's 3-day at a hotel. I'm just working with about 10 people. So I've gotten so many people that have heard my story, which I don't get a chance to share that often, or because I'm working all the time. But just a few people here in Atlanta, where I live now, and really, really interested in learning e-commerce. So I said, you know what, let's get together at a hotel. If you guys are really serious, you really want to learn this and work. There's not going to be like, hey, let's go hang out and go catch a movie. Like, we're going to work the entire time and really put it in. And what I'm going to do is help them kind of get set up before the weekend. So we'll do some pre-work webinars, show them how to get their Shopify store set up, show them how to create a Facebook ad account, and just really take them through. So I think, and you probably experience this a lot, is like once people hear your story and they see what you've done, it's like they just want to hear everything you have to say, because they're just trying to pick up, okay, what's the thing that you did differently that I'm not doing, or what is it that that I don't know. And a lot of times, like we just said, it's really just putting all the pieces together that you may know or may not know, or that one thing that you hear in a workshop that kind of clicks for you. And so, yeah, so I just decided to get a few people together, who are willing to make the investment. And it's just going to be me and you and a laptop and Wi-Fi. And I'm going to really push people to get started in e-commerce, because it works. I mean, we see it. You see it. All the people you've talked to, even if you didn't do this yourself, right? You see it firsthand, but you talk to so many people that that do this even to this day, and it just works. And so I'm hoping to be able to help a few people. And you know what, too, and we talked about this a little bit offline. I really want to see more women do this.
Yeah.
I really want to see more women in the space. Every mastermind or every event I go to, it's like 5 of us in a room of, hundreds. And there are a few people and women in the space who I follow who are doing well, but there are not enough of us, and not to get on my Hillary Clinton or anything like that. Yeah. But I just feel like there's opportunities for women to see other women doing well, and connecting and putting the dots together and putting the pieces together. And we shop the most. And that's the crazy thing. Like, we're the ones online buying all this stuff from e-commerce stores run by men. We shop the most. We buy stuff for you guys online. And I feel like if women could channel that shopping skill set into now being a e-commerce store owner, I think they would do well.
One of my stores is a male dominant niche, but it's funny because when you look at the buyers, it's split 50-50. Just because women do so much of the shopping for men. And you see on the ads all the time, like women or husbands tagging their wife, be like, "Can you buy this for me?" And it's hilarious. So yeah, I'm with you. I want to see more women in this industry. It was we've been trying to reach out and find more women entrepreneurs, but it's tough to find them.
Yeah.
I think you were one of the first that I came across. So thank you for being on here.
Yeah, well, maybe I can help create some, and we'll start a Wonder Woman e-commerce group or something like that.
Yeah, women only. I'll just sit on the sidelines and hide out.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Well, thanks for having me, Gabe. This was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I'd like to apologize to everyone because it's been a while since we've done this. And, oh yeah, dog time. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's a real podcast. It's just like people having convo. So dog barking in the background is totally okay. But yeah, we are going to be getting back on these more regularly. Thank you for all your support. And if you found any entertainment value in this or any good value at all, please share it or pass it on to someone. So thanks, everybody. And we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.